I think it's going to be a collection of guys. You know, Tray Burke is doing a great job so far. He's made a lot of great plays early. Dayami, having him back is huge, just seeing his maturation process. You know, he's a guy I definitely lean on. Jefferson is doing a great job. Antonio Williams as well is a guy who we're throwing a lot at him right now, you know what I mean? But he's just taking it in stride and taking the coaching. Luke and Jay Lane doing great in the slot. So I think the great thing about Jayden, he does a great job of facilitating the football. So there's going to be a lot of guys who are able to touch it. So it's about coming out here and proving you have what it takes to gain his trust and gain Blau's trust as well. And then having Chig as well, just adding him to our offense this year. He's a tight end who really runs routes like a receiver.
Yeah. A lot of receivers like to keep in touch, small fraternity. Do you have any contact with Stephon Diggs or any of those guys that are free agents, could be ads for the team at some point?
No, I've had chats with Diggs just playing football, but you know, we don't really have a personal relationship off the field. At the end of the day, I kind of let AP and those guys handle it. You know what I mean? I trust the guys that we have here, but if they decide to bring someone in, I'm going to welcome them into our brotherhood, try to help them become a part of the Commanders, and I know if they bring them in, then whoever it is, they're going to have a chance to help us. So that's just my job as a leader of the room and a player on this offense, to try to make everybody better and allow them to make me better too. So we'll see. It's a long camp, it's a long preseason, and I love what I'm seeing with the guys right now.
Yeah. And how would you describe what kind of quarterback Jayden Daniels is going to be 2026?
I mean, I just think his ability to continue to build on what he's done in the past. Obviously, his ability to just be accurate down the football field. And this new offense is going to be new for us all. More, play action, under center. A lot of people have heard that, but just his variety to get us in the right plays. I think Blau's done a great job of just giving us a set of plays at the line of scrimmage where he could get us in the right stuff depending on what the defense is giving us a look. And Jayden's so cerebral, he's able to, regurgitate the offense in a way that's very clear for everyone. So his competitiveness just always shows, his preparedness is always showing. But I think, like I said, his leadership, his ability to say what he's expecting, to challenge guys, to get us going is what you want to see out of your franchise guy.
Yes, sir. Terry, appreciate the time,
man.
Good to see you,
Jeremy. Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I think all those Commander fans in the background thrilled to see Terry McLaurin on the football field and healthy. We shift our attention back to Patriots camp. Mike G and Brian Baldinger back with us right now. Some weather issues, so it's closed practice for a lot of the fans. But don't worry, we got our cameras that are out there right now. Mike and Baldy, earlier today, you guys were so jacked up to see a padded practice, to see some of these fresh faces. What's been standing out so far?
Yeah, well, and that's also, like, we're not shooting this part of practice. That's why you're seeing just a couple of dummies. Oh, by that I mean those ones back there. That's what I meant. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Baldy's like
the
Steve
physicality, the physicality and the full padded practice is happening indoors, and you're seeing it. You wanted to see Baldy. You said, I want to see Christian Gonzalez go up against A.J. Brown. Right out of the gate.
First play in one-on-ones team period out here was every time A.J. lined up, Gonzalez was right there with him. And so, they went at each other. I think A.J. tipped the ball to himself. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was out of bounds. I didn't get a good replay. It was a good angle of it there.
I'm counting it from over here.
But, I mean, it's just like, literally, they just wait for each other, and then they take all the reps against each other. And then to see Romeo Doubs, I don't know if people know just how big Doubs is. And Matt Collins, they've got a front line of a basketball team at wide receiver for Drake May right now. When you put those, not to, reduce what Pop Douglas did last year or Keyshawn Boutte or whatever. They got some big guys that can line up on the outside.
I mean, this was a team that we were talking about a couple of years ago, potentially getting into the mix for Brandon Ayuk because they just needed a receiver. And they made a huge offer to Ayuk to potentially bring him here because they were so thin. Now they're so deep. I mean, they're so deep in a lot of places, not just at wide receiver. But that Gonzalez-A.J. Brown matchup, I know we're talking about Gonzalez potentially being paid as the top cornerback in the league. That is not imminent, by the way, from everything I can understand. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done on that front. But coming out, there was a thought that maybe he wasn't as physical and he was a little soft from time to time. That's a part of his game he's still working on. What a great guy to work on that.
No. I mean, I remember way back here, Mike, when Darrelle Revis went back to the Jets and Brandon Marshall was there, and watching those two go at each other in practice, it carried over to the field. They both had great seasons. But I feel like both guys will make each other better. And, the one thing that Christian Gonzalez wants to do is take the ball away. Like, he wants more interceptions. Everybody does. You can't force those things. They don't go at him a whole lot. He's a man coverage, sticky man coverage a lot. You don't get a chance to see the ball and the flight of the ball as much. But that's okay, because he's going to line up on your X receiver and try to take you out. He's going to travel in certain game situations in certain game plans. And so he has that ability to do those things.
Hey, guys, I know you guys are talking about the guys on the outside. Yes, A.J. Brown, Christian Gonzalez, great storyline. But how does offensive line looking, Baldy? Man, that's what I thought you was going to talk about. No, man, Drake May got beat up in the playoffs.
Listen, so Will Campbell is back healthy, Mike Robb, at left tackle right now. They've got a new center in Jared Wilson, who was the left guard a year ago. They brought in Ali Vera Tucker to play left guard, to go with Michael Onwenu, the right guard, and Morgan Moses, who had a terrific season at right tackle. And then, they drafted Caleb Lomu in the first round, and they're just kind of letting him kind of develop here and work. But I feel like Will Campbell, he was with Lane Johnson down in Oklahoma in the offseason, and a lot of the offensive linemen that were there, Tristan Wirfs was down there, Deion Dawkins was down there, they just went at it, like just getting stronger. And I feel like Will Campbell in his second year is stronger than he's been. The leg is healthy. I think if you graded Will Campbell at the end of the regular season, he would have been very highly rated. The postseason, he really he was dragging that leg, not making excuses here. But I feel like he's going to be back and better than ever in his second season.
Real quickly, I add to that, when you talk to people here, they say he had his worst game with 1 billion people watching, right? It just so happened to be the Super Bowl. They graded him on the full body, and they feel like he is going to take another step forward in year 2.
You can't have your worst game in the Super Bowl. That can't happen, GZ.
I'm just saying. I understand that. I get it.
Got to be healthy.
But there's more games to be played, and I think he's going to lock in. That's just my thought.
We are always here for Baldy talking about offensive line. By the way, we ran a graphic with all those sacks that Drake May took. Those are regular season numbers. That does not include the 21 times that he was sacked in the postseason. That's the most in NFL history in the playoffs. So that's got to get shored up. More from you guys coming up in just a moment as we shift our attention back to Owings Mills, Maryland, site of Ravens camp. And Steve Wyche and Ian Rappaport are there. Guys, I want to actually just pick up right where we left off a little bit earlier, because we were talking about Lamar Jackson and this new coaching staff. Declan Doyle, one of you guys had made the reference to the fact that that relationship has got to be key for obvious reasons. But there's you got to imagine just the age, Steve. You got a 30-year-old in Declan. We got a 29-year-old in Lamar. That's all well and good. But Steve, you've been around this sport for a really long period of time. For Doyle, he's never called plays before. How big of an adjustment? We talk about the relationship, which is important, but this guy's still got to do a job that technically he hasn't done before.
Steve, did he just call you old? I love that veiled shot, knowing that I have children that are that age.
Oh,
wow. But real quick, you guys are looking at the starting secondary for the Baltimore Ravens. We're in the kicking game period right now, so these guys are just going through some certain Josie, and Kyle Hamilton is going to join Ian and I later after the show. But real quick, before we get to Declan Doyle, Ian, I want to kind of set the scene for you, like a difference already that we noticed with Jesse Minter. When they opened up on the first full day of pads, they went full team, ones-on-ones, twos versus twos, but they went half speed. So when the offensive and defensive line had the initial shock of contact, they eased up. Right? A lot of teams, we've seen it before, will pound on each other right out of the gate to see who wants to get calloused. So this is a measure just to make sure that these guys